Now let us see the use case modeling. The use case modeling is a form of requirement engineering. The purpose of use case modeling is capturing the requirements of the system. Okay, so we prepare a model using the UML diagram that will describe what are the requirements of the system or what a system should do. But of course, it will not specify. Okay, the purpose of use case modeling is not how the system will do it, but how the system will do it is kept aside, and what the system should do, so that is captured in the use case modeling. The use case modeling typically proceeds as follows: find the system boundary, find the actors, find the use cases. So specify the use cases, create the scenarios. Okay, so in the when after you identify the use cases, then you need to go into the detailed specifications of the use cases, and you need to create the scenarios as to how this particular use cases or this particular behavior, you need to describe the behavior of your system in the different scenarios. Okay, so basically, you are doing the analysis of the system to find out what the system is expected to do. So there are four components of this particular model. That is actors, the roles played by the people or thing that use the system. Okay, so this is the first component of the use case model. Then the use cases, that is the things that the actors can do with the system, relationships, uh, meaningful relationship between the actors and the use cases. Okay, rather this is the next the third component of the use case modeling, that is relationship. There can be relationship between the actors and use cases, or even there can be relationships between the the two use cases of the system. Then the fourth component is the system boundary, a box drawn around the use case to denote the edge of the boundary of the system being modeled. Okay, so the system boundary clearly specifies what is inside the boundary of the system and what is outside the boundary of the system. So it clearly defines the scope of the system. Okay. So let us see first of all the system boundary. So it defines what is the part of your system that is inside the system boundary, and what is external to your system, that is outside the boundary of the system. The system boundary is defined by who or what uses the system, that is the actors, and what specific benefits the system offers to those actors, that is the use cases. Okay. The system boundary is drawn as a box labeled with the name of the system, with the actors drawn outside the boundary of the outside the boundary, and the use cases are inside that particular system boundary. Okay. Then the actors, an actor is a specific role that some external entity adopts when interacting with your system directly. It may represent a user role or a role played by another system that touches the boundary of your system. Okay, so these actors, they are the external entities who interact with your system. Okay, so uh, the actors may play different roles, and depending on that, the number of actors may be identified with a particular system. Okay, the actors, they are always kept outside the boundary of the system. Okay, so the symbol for the actor is like this. Okay, so this is the popular graphical symbol for the actor, but in the case if you want to use a square, a rectangle for the actor, it can be used, but it need to be stereotyped. Okay, so earlier this particular, the notation for the class was stereotype, and in a stereotype, in the sense it is remodified to represent a particular actor in this particular fashion. But nowadays the most popular symbol being used by the people is this. To identify the actors, we must ask following questions, and these questions will help you to identify the actors of your system. So, it is very important to identify uh, the actors in a particular system. If you are identifying all the actors, then only you will be able to grab all the requirements of that particular system. Otherwise, if you miss some actors, then you may be missing some of the requirements or some of the functionalities of the system, and at a later stage, then you need to again incorporate those particular requirement and behavior of the system. Okay, the first question that you should ask is who or what uses the system. Okay. Then next question, what roles do they play in the interaction? Okay. Who installs the system? Then who starts and shuts down the system? Okay. So all those persons. The point to be noted here is that the actors, they may be uh, the human actors, or they may be non-human actors. Okay, who maintains the system? What other systems interact with this particular system? Okay, so in this in the answer to this particular question, probably you will be getting non-human actors which are interacting with your system. Then who gets and provides information to the system? Does anything happen at a fixed time? Okay, so this is something which is some event, and it may act as the actor in your system. Okay, so time may be the actor in your system. So this is how you should ask the questions, and by answering this particular question, you may be getting the actors of your in your system. Then use case, the second component is the use case. A specification of the sequences of actions, including variant sequences and error sequences, that a system, subsystem, or class can perform by interacting with the outside actors. Okay, so a use case is something an actor wants the system to do. So it is a use case of use of the system by specific actor. Okay, so usually the use cases, they are uh, related to the specific actors. The use cases are always started by an actor. Use cases are always written from the point of view of an actor. So this is the way you can specify, or you can draw the use cases, show the use cases in the graphical form with the help of uh, ellipse. The name of the use case is the place order or get status on order. And the thumb rule for naming the use case is that the use case will always start with a verb. Okay, for example, place is a verb, so it will always start with a verb, so that it is suggesting some behavior, because if it has to suggest some behavior of the system, then it has to start with the verb. If uh, you are specifying or you are naming some use case as just as order, then order is a noun, so this particular name is suitable for a particular class or a particular object, but it cannot be the name of the use case. So if you are using the you are naming the use cases, then you must know that, or you must understand that the name of the use case, it must start with a particular verb. Okay, so these are the two examples here shown of the use cases. Now, how one can identify the use cases? The questions you can ask when trying to identify the use cases are like this. Okay, what functions will a specific actor want from the system? Then, does the system store and retrieve information? If so, which actors trigger this particular behavior? Okay. Then, are any actors notified when the system changes the state? Okay. Then, are there any external events that affect the system? Okay. What notifies the system about those events? So all these questions need to be asked, and these may select or these may suggest you to identify the use cases with respect to your system. Okay, so this is what we have discussed in this particular topic, and in the next video we shall go for the more advanced topics of the use case modeling. Thank you.